G'day friends, welcome to today's journal with me. My name is James. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're new. Today's piece just developed. It was a piece I started last week when I was struggling to wrestle myself with the idea that I should just be doing what I knew I wanted to be doing from the beginning. A piece of advice I give to everyone, but apparently not myself. It's very Memoirs of a Geisha, Sayuri, what better advice to follow than one's own. Last week I thought it would be better if I just did something I knew I could handle, rather than urban sketch in front of everyone and maybe fail at it and have to delete the video. As it were, I did really love what I did anyway when I finally gave in an urban sketch, so all was well at the end of the day. But yeah, hopefully I can get over that hurdle a little sooner, because that was a waste. That was kind of a waste of time not listening to, my gut. Anyway, so today apparently I just needed 7 days to get back to this piece, and I'm going to finish it today. I let the piece happen as it happened, and I thought, I wonder if at the end of it, I'll feel maybe a story came through, or maybe something I could write about. And if not, I would just leave it. I don't always feel the need to write over any of my artwork. Journals for me are a bunch of anything and everything I want to do. Sometimes I want to write in them. Sometimes I want to make a grocery list. Sometimes I want to put photos in there and document something. And then other times I just want to paint a pretty picture because it feels good to use the paint, or I've got a new color I want to try, or I just have something I want to do. Do you know what I mean? I like to say my journals are imagination encyclopedias. Anything and everything that's going on in the back of my brain is probably in there. So today it was actually kind of funny because this did evolve as it evolved. It was very intuitive. I didn't have any idea for it. When I looked at it at the end, I immediately got this sense of something that is very personal. And then if you know, more recently, I've been struggling with trying to be more candid about things that I fear talking about publicly. And nothing super major, but, things that could be controversial sometimes, or things that could stir up, past problems that I don't want to have to deal with. Wow, what did that say about me? But just being candid in general, because I want to respect the relationship that, you guys have. You meet me here in this space. I share a lot of my story with you. You share a lot of your story back. We both share in something that's very vulnerable to the both of us, and that's creative expression. I get to know a lot about you through what you decide to create, or the colors you use to create it, or the mediums you use to create it, the journals you use. Everything comes together to paint this bigger picture of you and what you like and how you see beauty and what you admire in the world. And, journals are a really super amazing communication tool that children don't necessarily need, but I think adults need, because we lose access to how we were as children. Children will show you how to art journal if you just give them a book. They will do anything with it. And that is exactly what I feel like it is. As adults, we obviously, life happens and you suddenly lose access to a lot of that stuff that, children have a constant supply of. And so I actually think they're a really good way to give a voice to that inner child that a lot of us struggle to relate with as adults. My own personal 2 cents worth, honestly. Everyone's got a different idea about what art journaling is to them, and I welcome all different ideas here. If you want to sound off in the comments below what art journaling is to you, we've done this before in the Facebook group, but it's always a super interesting conversation. So, if you want to answer that question, I'd love to read. Today, I wanted to talk about the message that kind of appeared at the end of this for 2 reasons. One, I really wanted to tell you what it was about, but I guess only because I was nervous to put it out there, because I read it and I thought, oh, this could be taken the wrong way. So I'm gonna, use this opportunity. I've accidentally thrown myself into this candid moment. I do have to explain what I meant by it, so that it doesn't sound extremely conceited. Which, if you want to believe that, please, by all means, go and believe whatever you want to believe. I can't change your mind. But I'm going to explain how it happened. These muses across the page ended up carrying this garland of stars. They have stars in their hair. They've got stars all over their décolletage. There's just stars in the background. Stars, 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 stars plus. So I thought about stars, and it just star power came to my mind. And it's something as a dancer, a long time ago. I mean, there's many a competition called Star Power. It's something that you kind of always aspire to as a performer back in the day, to have this star quality, to have this star power, to shine brighter than everyone else around you, to garner attention so you could get a better job, or you could get the lead spot in something. And I will admit that throughout the longest time, I never realized how self-serving that was. to be the brightest star in the room so that you would be glorified in that way. Now, if anyone doesn't know, I am a Christian, and like Steve and I are Christians. We go to church, we're actively involved in the church, and I live my life as a man of faith. And so, as I grew up, thank goodness, eventually one day I realized I wasn't living for myself. I'm not here to shine my light brighter than anybody else's. Super big relief, to be honest, because you'll always find as a human you fall short, because there will always be someone better, there will always be someone more talented, there will always be someone who shines brighter, who looks better, who is thinner, who does it, kicks their leg higher. And once you feel like you don't need to run that race, you actually have a really great time on your own path at your own pace. So, wow, that kind of rhymes, doesn't it? I should write that down. Journals as I'm doing a voiceover. No, but so today I kind of felt that one of these positive affirmations. I'm not the type to go to the mirror and say, you look beautiful today, you are stunning. I would never, because I know myself. I don't take those things seriously. For me, anyway, I couldn't love more that other people do that and they really feel that. I just am way too. I would have to suspend all disbelief, if not be completely unconscious, to be able to do that. So the thing that I do resonate with, that I respond to, is humor, and I love a good bit of tongue in cheek. And I actually do, I feel that more than I could just look at myself in the mirror and say something. So today I kind of hit a self-affirmation for me about the light that I have to shine, or the light that I have to share, and the star power, the sprinkle of star quality, that glitter and that gleam of a star, and how it just twinkles. And the quote that I ended up putting on there was, star power, take all you want, I've got an endless supply. It is hard not to bring faith into this, because it is a lot of the reason that I feel the way I feel. So bear with me if you're not a Christian, or if you find these conversations a little too much. I have no problem with you finding another video. I don't take offense. I know not everyone comes here for these conversations, but I do want to share a bit more candidly about where that comes from. So, if you don't mind, I'll just get into it, shall we? I feel like one of our goals here, one of my missions on this earth, is to shine the light of my faith, and to be an example of that. And it is a very hard thing to do as a human. Like, we're just not fully equipped to do it all the time. And, especially, I feel like sometimes I get the really wrong idea, and I think if I can do it all by myself and I can isolate myself, at least I won't have the pressure of other people coming in to get in the way of what I'm supposed to be doing here. But we weren't made to be on this earth by ourselves. That's why there's billions of other people on the earth with us. So it can become a very difficult thing when you feel like some people out there really don't care that you're shining, and they actually do care because they want to stop it. They want to dull your sparkle. They want to take that shine away from you. They want to dim your light. They don't want that, because much how like I was when I was a dancer, it's important for them to shine the brightest in that room or in that space, so that they will be glorified by everything they've been putting out there. And I completely understand that. I think it's why I have a lot of empathy for these situations, even though they really do concern me or upset me. I do kind of understand where that comes from sometimes, having had that experience through dance. So unlike dance, I actually don't feel the need to fight back anymore. I don't feel the need to push to the front of the audition. I don't feel the need to prove anything other than I turn up, I give what I've got, and I leave with my head held high, knowing that I did my best. And I've taken that lesson into what I do now, into art journaling. And it might be the most selfish thing I've ever done, because it gives me such peace. I don't have to fight for it. No one has to fight for a spot at my table. No one has to feel like they're going to go without, because there's enough for everybody. Like, I'm allowed to keep shining my light, and it doesn't matter who wants to dim it, because I do have an endless supply of it. Like, I resource from, my ultimate creator. From the creator that created creativity. Do you know what I mean? If I ever feel like I'm going to run out, then, my faith must be waning a little bit, because something I used to fear, I don't fear it at all anymore. If I ever need an idea, I just go searching for one. It'll come, it'll turn up. If I need, you know what I mean? Like, all of those things, I obviously have a lot to do with my faith, but the idea that, take as much as you want, I have an endless supply. I think over time I learned that you can't actually steal a gift. If someone is willing to give you something, they can't steal it from you. If you know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to give someone something, they can't steal it from you. And what I felt most disturbed by the image or the thought of someone wanting to dim my light or to dull my sparkle was that they're trying to take that away from me. And I realized they actually can't. If I'm willing to give it, they can take as much as they want. I've got more. I've got more light to shine. I've got more sparkle to give. I got glitter for days, guys. I got a whole body full of sparkle. So it wasn't something I felt so threatened by anymore. And just that simple realization is something that I do hold on to as a truth to this day, because it is very freeing. It is very liberating, in a sense, to be able to create that way and to be able to put yourself out there vulnerably as someone who documents their life, their creativity, their creative expression. We share our art, we share some vulnerable and intimate parts of ourselves through art journaling and through scrapbooking and through journal keeping, whatever medium you decide to do, or whatever discipline you decide to take on, you do share a lot of your own personal experience in that. And it was so freeing to not have to worry about anyone dulling my sparkle or anyone taking away that light. Ultimately, it was for me to give, and I was so happy to give it. Also selfishly, because the more I gave away, the more other people were excited to give theirs back. So it just made the whole experience better. The whole room is brighter. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, you do shine a light onto some of those darker areas of the internet, of certain groups, of certain experiences that you don't really want to find yourself in. But then there's also a purpose to being there too, because those dark places also need light. And I want to encourage anyone that watches these videos to take your own sparkle, to take your own light, and to shine it the brightest there. It is really easy for us to do it with each other, and I am guilty of this. I am guilty of really trying to stay inside my own lane for fear of accidentally illuminating some place that I'm not wanted or I'm not supposed to go. So I'm going to challenge myself to do it a little bit more. I like the idea of being countercultural, not because it's ever fun or exciting. Most of the time it's actually terrifying, but I know what I'm building and I know what I'm striving for, and it's a place where people actually do feel welcome. It's not just a saying, where you can be there, you can show up, you can learn something, you can share, you can express, you can feel like giving that part of yourself over is not done in vain, or it's not going to be taken for granted, and that no one's going to take that and use that in a way that would bring you harm. So that is, wow, probably the deepest I've ever been on YouTube, but I feel good about saying that. I've been stepping into candor a lot more. If you've been over on Playtest 2, the Patreon experience this year, I think a lot of people have been expressing to me that I have been sharing a lot more, and it's been a bit more interesting. Not that I'm trying to be interesting, honestly. I'm just trying to grow a little bit. I'm really trying to grow before I'm 30, guys. Like, I need to have it figured out before I'm 30, or the whole world is going to come crashing down. No, it's fine. I feel like this is what I'm being called to share right now. And I am stepping into a bit of a different season. I'll be willing to share more of what's been going on that I haven't been sharing lately, at another time when I feel like is the most appropriate time to share that. But yeah, if I could leave you with this affirmation today, that you all have a star power. You all have light bulbs inside of you, or a sheet of stars inside. That is just a given. You were given that at birth, and you're allowed to shine that wherever you feel like shining that. And it can be as bright as you want to shine it, and it should feel good, and it's something that you take a lot of pride in. And if you are willing to give it away, no one can take it from you. I find that a lot of people that are trying to take it also don't try to give it away, are also very protective of their own light, their own star power, their own qualities that would, necessarily benefit a lot of people if you could just be so generous with it. But, everyone is on their own journey, and everyone does need their own time to come to those realizations. So it's not for us to judge, and it's not for us to go and demand that people change in a way that would suit us. It is just our job to kind of be the example and to create and build on the culture that we want to be a part of. So that is, wow, I'm saying it again, but that is, honestly, I feel like that's the most bare I've been in a long time. I feel stripped. I want to leave you with that today. I hope you enjoyed the little journal with me, and I hope you enjoyed, more than that, just the message that I had to share today. Please don't feel the need to weigh in on anything below. Just take it for what it is. If you do want to answer anything, let me know what art journaling is to you and why it's important. I would love to read some of those comments. And I'll be with you again next week for another video. Bye.